Have you ever felt an intense emotional reaction and wondered, why did that hit me so hard? Was it something about the situation now, or was this something about my past? I used to get anxious anytime someone was distant from me until I realized that it wasn't about them and it was more about my past and feeling emotionally unseen growing up. In this video, I'm going to be talking about two different types of emotions that can happen within us and how to tell the difference. So, based on my knowledge and my experience, there are two types of emotions. One can come from your past experience, and the other emotion can be from your present experience in the moment. And if you don't become consciously aware of the types of emotions that are coming up and where they're coming from, these can run the show, run your life, and end up creating old patterns in your life over and over. So our past emotions are called triggered emotions, okay? And these emotions are from past trauma, pain, and learned patterns. And these emotions can look like the following. So for myself in the past, I would get defensive or upset anytime that I was given some feedback, constructive or criticizing, any sort of feedback, I would get defensive. And what I realized is that this came from my past and how I was highly criticized and shamed for doing certain things in my life or not doing good enough. But this criticizing and shame was actually coming from myself and coming from being a perfectionist and never feeling like anything that I did was good enough. So this was a triggered emotion that was following me throughout my life, and until I became consciously aware of it, it was running the show. And anytime that I would get this constructive feedback, instead of using that to my advantage and learning to use that to grow, I was getting defensive and not learning and growing. So that's an example of a triggered emotion. Another one could be if somebody sets a boundary with you. This can trigger anger within you based on your past experiences with abandonment. Okay? But the reality of somebody setting a boundary with you only means that this person respects their limits and themselves and is only being assertive and with you and letting you know this is where where I draw my line, which everyone should be setting boundaries if you're coming from a healthy emotional state. And there is adaptive emotions, and these are conscious, present moment emotions that guide us in real time. What these can look like are when somebody crosses a boundary with you. You feel anger or upset, and in that moment, you let them know that they've crossed a line. Another example could be you losing somebody close to you and feeling sadness and grief. Another one could be feeling fear before you do something new, because this is normal. This is our nervous system letting us know that there might be risk taking place. And adaptive emotions have allowed us to interact with our environment through time and interact with one another, be able to survive and work in groups and cooperate. So emotions, adaptive emotions, and emotions in general are pretty much the basis of our life. It's just when it becomes a problem is when we are not acknowledging our triggered emotions that are running the show and guiding our behavior and pretty much stopping us from living out our inner true desires that we want to accomplish in our life, because we keep on getting triggered by certain things around us and being reactive. Okay, so I'm going to get into ways in which you can start to acknowledge which emotion you're feeling and where it's coming from. And it all starts with awareness. Becoming presently aware in the moment when that emotion is happening and you happening in your body when you're being triggered. Okay, it starts with that bodily response. And so feeling into that in your body and asking yourself in that moment, where is this coming from? Okay, your body has all the knowledge of you before your brain does. Okay, so trusting that and consciously with your mind and your voice asking, where's this coming from? Is this an old wound, or is this about right now? Is someone crossing a line? Am I actually in danger in this moment? And inquiring, and just by speaking that into existence, your body will respond back, and you will feel intuitively. Once you start practicing this more and more, of being more aware, you will start to know intuitively where it is coming from. And the more conscious you become of your emotional reactions, whether they're triggered or they're adaptive, then you're able to consciously run the show and better understand your emotions instead of letting them run the show, like I've said before. The more conscious we become, the more we pause and reflect on where our emotions are coming from instead of reacting from old wounds. And that's how we break emotional patterns, not by trying to control them, but like I said, by trying to understand them. If this resonated, follow for more emotional awareness and conscious healing. And if you liked this video, I think that you'll like this one that I've linked above. It's called 3 Unconscious Habits from Childhood Emotional Abandonment. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and remember to stay mindful.